Welcome to another episode of Lost in the Script TV. Band for band, GoFundMe, Water Wars. How y'all doing? Mystery man on my ass. Why black people always late? We on black people time, man. I'm gonna start off by saying I got a lot of stuff going on, and I kind of forgot today was Mother's Day. I would not have went live today if I would have remembered that yesterday, but had some stuff going on yesterday, had to push it back. I probably would have pushed it back to like Wednesday or something if I had known, but it is what it is. And to the people that do celebrate Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to you, to all the mothers out there, doing what you're supposed to do, being a light to your family. Happy Mother's Day to y'all. To the people, shout out to the people who have their mother to call, and be sure to say your thanks to her and show your love to her at all times. And shout out to the people that don't have our mother here. We may not have her here physically, but we still have our memories, the teaching, the education we gain, and we can still have the love of that in our heart. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. How you doing, Ashley? Shalom. Good afternoon, everyone listening while working out. All right. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have went live today if I would have remembered that, but hey, man, life is life. But anyway, got some stuff to get to today. About 2 weeks of stuff. Shouldn't be that long of a show. I'm trying to keep these to around 2:30, even shorter if I can. If anybody wants to, you can come back and listen to it if you decide that you can't sit around that long. I understand. I said, Salam, it's cool to give live on Sunday sometimes, holiday or not. Yeah. But if I would have known, I probably wouldn't have. But you're right. It's okay to mix it up, I guess. I am going to start putting up some more movie breakdowns soon. Obviously with the Sinners movies. I'm not going to do, I see a lot of people doing Sinners, the movie breakdown, and I'm not, it's kind of oversaturated. So I'm waiting a little while, and I'm gonna do a little bit more than the typical, rundown of what the movie is about type of thing. I want to talk about more the esoteric stuff that was involved with that movie. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's topics and stories. The after our legends again. Are they after them, or people just doing a lot of stuff? They had no business. Excuse me. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right. Let's go. We're going to start with old freaky Smokey. Smokey Robinson accused of sexual assault by 4 women. Now, let me say, when you see this story, we see these stories the last decade or so, every couple of months, some legend or musician, entertainer get accused of this. And normally the story says, oh, this happened in 1970-something, 1980-something. But this, not quite the same with Smokey. Allegedly, his assaults happened in the last 20 years or so to some Hispanic immigrants who he had working as house workers and stuff. I'm going to show we're going to talk about this story. I'm going to show the video clips first, and then we'll get into it. Mitchell says they're just doing this before ICE unit gets them. I'm going to get into that.
4 women are making some disturbing new allegations against a Motown legend. I want to show you a live look at a press conference with the accusers and their attorneys. It's happening as we speak in California. In a lawsuit filed today against Smokey Robinson, the women who used to work for him say he sexually assaulted them and created a hostile work environment, among other things. Robinson's wife is also named in the lawsuit. It details multiple allegations, some as recent as last year. One employee says Robinson sexually assaulted her at least 23 times. 3 of the women say they didn't want to report it to police, in part because they were afraid of risking the possible adverse effect on their immigration statuses, according to the suit. Another says Robinson's, quote, brutal sexual advances were constant and even predictable while she worked for him. His accusers are seeking at least $50 million. NBC News has reached out to Robinson's reps for comment. No word back yet. Camila Bernal is joining
Okay, so now when you see the story, obviously they said this started in 2003. 4 women hired at different times during that. Obviously, the one woman saying she was assaulted over 23 times. And the initial reaction is like, hold on. And I agree, Mr. Man, he's 86. So this all happened in his late 60s, early 70s, apparently. And I will say, based off his music, you remember he just released an album, I think it was last year or the year before last, called Gasm. So Smokey is still out here moving. So he's not, he's still out here moving. But anyway, the way they're making this story a more sympathetic cause towards them, even though they're admitting that they were participants in this, they were accosted by him because they worked for him, obviously. They're saying that they were afraid for their immigration status, and they were making it out to be they were underpaid workers for years, and that the wife was also a part of this. And they basically saying that she was racist towards them and stuff like that. I'm gonna play one more video. We get even more into it.
We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick rapist that must be stopped.
Attorney John Harris revealing the accusations against Motown legend Smokey Robinson.
I will not describe the details of the sexual assaults and rapes because they're too graphic and disturbing for this news conference.
All 4 of Robinson's alleged victims have chosen to remain unnamed and are referred to as Jane Doe in the complaint.
Our 4 clients have a common thread. They're Hispanic women who were employed as housekeepers by the Robinsons, earning below minimum wage.
The accusations against the music legend include sexual assault, sexual battery, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile work environment.
We're seeking damages of $50 million.
The complaint also claiming one of the Jane Does was first sexually assaulted in 2007 and that
I got it wrong. I said 2003. It was 2007.
These acts continued until she resigned in 2024. According to the complaint, Robinson.
So she was first assaulted in 2007, and she didn't quit until 2024. Okay.
Robinson's former housekeeper claims in the lawsuit that she was sexually assaulted not even 2 months after she started cleaning the couple's Los Angeles mansion. Another Jane Doe claims Robinson started sexually assaulting her in 2016, claiming when she was home alone with the singer at his Los Angeles mansion, he would text her and ask her to meet at places in the house that didn't have cameras. The woman alleges he would then sexually assault her.
We do have evidence of some of the misconduct.
The complaint says the former employees didn't speak out or go to police because they were afraid of losing their livelihood, familial reprisal, and the possible adverse effect on their immigration status.
And having to tell their husband and children of these despicable acts against them left them overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment.
Robinson's wife, Frances, also named in the lawsuit, accused of creating a hostile work environment and being aware of what was alleged and not doing anything to stop it.
These 4 courageous women want and demand justice for themselves, and the filing of this lawsuit is the first step.
The complaint.
Okay, enough of this. All right, so I want to start by saying, obviously, if you're somebody who's taking advantage of people who have, who rely on your employment, and you're taking advantage of that to assault them, that's wrong, obviously. And the part about the wife, I'm not surprised if the wife knew about this because this is a normal thing. This is Smokey Robinson. Like this person had access to all the women he wanted throughout his lifetime. That doesn't really stop because he's older now. His wife will come to an understanding with him. So that's different. So let's not act like Mr. Miss has light skin on light skin crime. Oh, what up, Keeper? And let's not pretend that, especially when you start talking about these high earners, these people, these millionaires and these entertainers, celebrities, that it's not actually absolutely normal for them to hire housekeepers or nannies or whatever you want to call them, and them be women that they also gain access to sexually through that. We see the same thing happen with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he got his maid or whatever pregnant. He had a child with her, and the child with the maid looks more like him than his actual son. But that's a whole nother story. So this is a norm. I'm not saying it's right, but this is a norm around that circle. I will say the excuse they use of the reason why she stayed because of the immigration status and their livelihood been affected. You know, after the first time, you could have said something. I don't like this. I'm tired of this narrative that these people are so powerful that if you accuse them of something that it'll only affect you and nobody will believe you. That's not how this world has worked in a long time. Especially when you're talking about 2007. You could have said something. And you had until 2024 to say something. And the fact that you didn't say anything until you quit says you pretty much served your time with him and you want to leave with a bigger bag than you left with. Like I said, I'm not justifying it, but in a lot of these situations, a lot of these women come over with the idea of finding some wealthy man to be his maid or whatever, or his nanny, house cleaner, house servant, to get the type of relationship to gain even more a foothold in the country. But now they on Smokey. Smokey came out and said he's not, I do like the fact that, remember, Smokey Robinson made sure to come out in an interview a few years ago and say that he's not African American, we are Black American. And in his response to this, he said he's not just a Black American icon, that he is an American icon. And he came out and denied it, obviously. And I want to show some more of this. I want to read some more of this. A complaint filed in Los Angeles. We already heard him just give all of that information. Mr. Man says, I just read 2 white girls with KK hoods and went to Atlanta hood and got killed. Really? Oh, man, hold on. White guys. I said white girls, my bad. Hold on, let me check that out. That's another case that just somewhat happened like that in that we're gonna get to, that happened in Virginia. Sorry. I'll look it up in a second. Hold on. I'm just seen it on TikTok. Oh, okay. I got another story similar to that in Virginia. But anyway, Keeper says, well, sometimes you can't fix stupid. Robinson was Motown's hitmaker, yada, yada, yada. Hold on. I want to get to a particular part of this. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're Hispanic women below minimum wage. As low-wage women are in vulnerable positions, they lack the resources and options necessary to protect themselves from sexual assaults. The women suing under the pseudonyms Jane Doe 1234 due to sexual misconduct allegations, including rape, being leveled against the musician. All right, here we go. Jane Doe 1234 all alleged Robinson sexual assaulted them in the Blue Room at his residence, claiming he would lay down a towel to protect the bed sheets prior to the assaults. Jane Doe 2's allegations state that Robinson attacked her in the laundry room and garage of his residence, where close cameras were unable to see. The lawsuit also includes several allegations of workplace violations. All 4 women say they worked 10 hours a day for 6 days a week without being paid minimum wage or overtime. They also claim to have worked holidays without receiving holiday rates. Richmond's that was fixed. Oh yeah, did I got any more? I thought I said I had something else. Hold on. Something else I wanted to bring up. They filed in Los Angeles that assaults largely occurred in Robinson's home. I just said that. The suit alleges that Robinson assaulted one woman at least 23 times from May 2014 to February 2020, often in places in his home without security cameras. The suit says that he subjected 2 of the plaintiffs to the same behavior. One of the former housekeepers worked for Robinson for 13 months, during which he alleged he assaulted her at least 7 times. Yeah. They got old Smokey. He said that his lawyer said they're gonna try to throw this out. That this is false, obviously. Keeper says, I don't believe him. I do believe he was messing around with him. I just don't think it was, as they say, assault. Like I said, we don't know the facts, but from what we know historically and what happens in these type of relationships between housekeepers and multi-millionaire men, or at least men of high resources, this is kind of a norm, especially when you consider that she had a husband and kids. So you mean to tell me you go work for a man, he assault you 23 times in the span of a couple years, 6 years, and you keep going home to your husband like nothing happened? And as a husband, if your wife did tell you, you continue to let it happen? You don't never pull up on Smokey and do something? Like, come on, man.
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
Regardless of if she didn't want to tell the police or tell anyone because she was afraid of her livelihood being affected, her immigration status, whatever, you didn't tell your husband. And if you did tell your husband didn't do nothing? All right, man. That part right there already makes me not want to believe it. But like I said, we'll see. They also said that the wife was using ethnically pejorative language towards them, being racist pretty much. Smokey Robinson's wife. So yeah, they pretty much saying she's in on it. She was okay with it, even though they said that the assaults only happened when the wife would leave. So when she would leave, then he would assault them. He wouldn't do it when she was there, but she knew about it apparently. I don't know. I just don't believe it. We'll see. More information will come soon. Obviously, everybody going to court at this point, band for band. It's time. People trying to get their money up. The economy ain't doing well for some, so people got to get it. How do you live it, man? Anyway, moving on from Smokey, we got another case that has me conflicted. And it reminds me a lot of the Carmelo Anthony case, where we have our initial reaction, and then you get more information. Your opinion obviously changes. This kind of had the opposite effect of that case, where I went from being pro to somewhat con. But let's get to it. Hold on. Rodney Hinton Jr., whose son was shot dead by police, denied bond, and killing of sheriff deputy after disturbance in court. Mr. Man says, we need money, just go to the park and call a kid the N-word and get a GoFundMe. Oh, we're going to get to that too, because I think all this is fake. I know I'm a conspiracy theorist. It just doesn't make sense. All of a sudden, everybody has all this money to donate. But I'll get to that. So this case starts with an 18-year-old in a shooting with the police. He didn't shoot. The officer shot him after running from the police, after they said that there were alleged some stealing going on. They went up to a vehicle. 4 people jumped out and started running. They accused him of having a weapon on him. They thought they heard a clinging. They ended up shooting him, and then they found a weapon on the scene. Let me start by saying, we don't know if that weapon is his. There were 3 other people. We know based off the video, he did not point the weapon at anybody, that he was running. So that's besides the point. The initial reaction obviously was, oh, another shooting with police involved, you know. And then very quickly, a new story came right behind it saying that the father of this young man went and killed the police officer. Now, the initial word of mouth was that he killed the police officer that killed his son. That's what everybody thought. And it was like, hey, man, eye for an eye, you know, you killed his son. He reacted a certain way. People started trying to make cases for him of, oh, that was what do you call it? Does crime of passion fit that? I don't know if that quite fits that situation, if that's only with domestic situations. A temporary insanity, all type of stuff that people trying to use as a possible defense of him, which they still could use possibly. Then we find out that the police officer that he ran over and killed was actually just an off-duty deputy, sheriff deputy, that he had nothing to do with what happened to his son. And so a lot of people say, oh, you just can't, in your anger, go out and just do something silly, because it kind of points to your parenting of possibly what your son was doing. Virginia says, peace, love, and soul train to the Duke in the chat. Shout out, Regina. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. So yeah, initially people were 100% riding with, and people still are. As y'all know, people are starting GoFundMes left and right. People are they're putting so much money on his books that you can't put any more money on his book. It's full. People keep putting money on his books. But let me show this here.
And authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old captured on police body cam is connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning. 4 suspects then fleeing police. Among them, 18-year-old Rodney Hinton. Body camera shows Hinton fall as he tries to run away. Police say they heard a metal clinking sound they believe was a gun.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right! He's got a gun!
As Hinton emerges from behind a dumpster, authorities say another officer firing 4 or 5 shots.
The officer says that he saw the suspect point the firearm at him.
Yes. Just 6 seconds pass between.
And see, this is why Clyburn to me is, he don't get enough smoke. I keep bringing it up every time we get a chance. He's the one that took the bullet for Biden to not get rid of qualified immunity out of that police reform bill. The fact that officers lie so often to justify their actions, and then when it's proven to be false and that they lie, there's no real punishment other than some suspension. It's crazy.
When police arrived and gunshots rang out, officials say they tried administering medical aid. Hinton was struck twice and died. Investigators saying this gun was recovered from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr. Hinton's attorney calling the officer's death a horrific tragedy. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement. He's now charged with aggravated murder. The Hamilton County Sheriff says the deputy's death was a tremendous loss. Hinton Jr. is currently being held on no bail. His bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday.
Okay. Mr. Man says, Sub-Empress, happy Mother's Day, and keep, Happy Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. Now, it goes without saying that the son clearly was either up to no good or was with the wrong crowd. Which either way, unfortunately, who you choose to be around is going to be how you're judged. So we not even try to justify any possibility of him being just some innocent bystander in a situation. He either was with them doing stuff or he was hanging with the wrong crowd, either one. Now, the father's actions reacting this way, even though your son is hanging out with this type of group, is not ever going to be justified because of the group he was hanging around. And it actually points to the volatile nature that you may have put into your son, where if he's running around with guns on him and stolen vehicles, it's like, this don't look well for you at all. Now, I am going to get to the family, though. Richmond said them black officers held Rodney down in court. That's what I did notice that. There was also one, let me see if I can find it. In the elevator, I got a video. Here you go. In the elevator, the cop made sure he didn't leave him in there with the other white officer.
Black officer refuses to leave Rodney Hinton alone in elevator with 3 white officers.
As you can see, he won't leave them in there with just the with Rodney alone. So that's respect. Shout out to him. Regardless if you agree with his actions or not, at least allow him to get fair treatment. But this right here, and all these officers that showed up in court, and they all look at him in his eyes as he passed and walked past them, and he looked them dead in the eye with a very defiant look. And once again, this type of action just ain't gonna bode well for him. I think he already know he gone. Let's be honest. They're gonna send him up the creek already. It's over. And then I got another one. So that's the family. I'm gonna say this. We all know this, that a lot of times the tone of a family is set by whoever we consider the patriarch. They kind of set the tone for the family and how they're gonna react to certain things. Like you'll notice, and this is not a shot, a lot of times when you see these shootings happen, and it's there's an immediate attempt to try and file some civil case to get some money. A lot of times those situations are the mother and father are there, but they're normally not married a lot of times, or they're not together at all. This is one of those instances where I don't know if he's with the mother or not, and the other family members of they're close, but they riding the way he rode. So once again, not justifying the actions, but his willingness to immediately go and get some get back as he thought he was doing, eye for an eye. His family is riding with him completely. Virginia said, I am not going to judge the father and will just say, in an unjust, unfair world, glad to finally witness some eye for an eye patterns emerging. And I think that's the reason why he's getting so much support from the public. From the people he's getting support from, should I say. Is because once again, you can not agree with his decision to go and kill someone else who has nothing to do with it. But it turned into a us versus you. Us versus you meaning police versus civilian. That now that you did something to us, quote unquote, the civilian, it justifies anything I do to y'all, the police. And the reaction to his defiance to go against what the power in this country, which is the police, one of the powers in this country, it's a lot different than from the guy who killed the CEO of the insurance company. When he killed a guy cold blood and early in the morning, and you see all the support and attention he's gaining because he's going against the structure of the system that's affected people and cost people all this other stuff. And it's like, well, and we're gonna get to another case that just happened with the cops in I think it's in Memphis, the 3 police officers that killed Tyre. They got off, and it makes sense when you see stuff like this why people would justify it. When you see these cops do crazy stuff on video, because of this situation when it happened with him, people are posting all type of old videos and content of police doing crazy stuff and getting slaps on the wrist, nothing happening to them. So you're in a system where people are justifying this because they don't think there's no real punishment to what's supposed to be the authority. Mr. Man said, watch his brother in the hallway. Keeper says, this is such an unfortunate situation. The son and the father are gone. Also likely someone who had nothing to do with his son's killing. Is sad. And that's another part of it. The police officer's family. Now, I don't know his record or, all the other stuff, his possible record in the police and what he's done or been accused of by civilians, but his family's going to feel like we didn't do anything. Maybe he was one of those cops that went by the books and just minded his business. But, as some people say, what's it called? ACAB, all cops are bastards. Some people just don't care. If you're a cop, they don't trust you, they don't like you, they hate you. Mr. Man said those 3 cops aren't going to get off on the federal charge. Yeah. It's just the state charges. They just beat the state charges, which is why I think they beat the state charges because they're already guilty of this federal. Let's see. Let me show this.
Marlon, I'm Ryan's cousin.
This is his cousin speaking.
My condolences to everybody involved in this. I want to say, Ryan, I'm so sorry. God, please watch over the rest of my family. I want to address all the negativity and saying he was being a stolen car, this and that. Listen, he was supposed to be at home that night and shit. Let me get this out. He had no business being on a stolen car, man. He had a bed to come home to. He slept in a car. He couldn't get in the house. All right.
Couldn't get in the house.
He called me like 6-9 times, like 2012 or one. He called me trying to get in. Text me. And I was asleep. Ryan, I'm so sorry. This was never supposed to happen to you. Ever. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Just know he wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't. He was scared. He tripped and fell. He must have been so scared. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Just that, like, everybody that's talking shit about him, just know he wasn't supposed to be there, y'all. I'm sorry.
So did you hear from the cousin's words that the son was not supposed to be there in the car, that he had nowhere to sleep, and that he tried calling him and texting him, but he wasn't awake. So he was only there for that reason. I don't know, man. It's a sad story all around. Mercy Man says, but what about the cop that killed Rodney's son? Is he getting arrested? Well, that's the thing. We hear nothing about it because now all the attention is on Rodney Hinton Jr. It's on the father now, and what's going to happen with him. I don't even know if there's been an investigation kicked off. I would imagine it have. There's automatically if there's some type of police shooting, there's automatic internal investigation about what happened. But that's not even going to be the main story anymore. At least not right now. Maybe in a week or two, when people start trying to continue the possible legal defense for Rodney, they'll bring up the shooting, obviously, of his son, and was it justified, and what are we going to do with him? And this is probably why he decided to do this, because he didn't think he would get real justice. So we'll see if he put more of a light on it in a week or so. Foreign exchange. This is going to be a Netflix movie, probably. Although in this society, it might hit Tubi first. Honestly, it might hit Tubi first. But unfortunate story. But I want to get to another part of this.
We can't even go into that neighborhood, Mr. Bennett.
I want to get to another part of this. Rodney Hinton Jr. case. After GoFundMe apology, Give Send Go set up for murder accused. So they tried to set up a GoFundMe for him for his legal defense and stuff. And they shut it down immediately because on GoFundMe, you cannot set up an account for somebody who committed a violent crime. So Give Send Go, the same place you can find the Carmelo Anthony donation. You could donate to Carmelo Anthony through that. They allowed it because they said they want free speech. And I said it with that Carmelo Anthony story. No offense. But there's many a times I've seen people in these viral stories, black, ask for donations and they don't quite get as much as you think they would get. I remember a few years ago when the black police officer in New Orleans came out against what happened to an innocent person shot, and she got no real support. She got she didn't get as much support as we should have given her for taking a stand against her, going against the blue wall pretty much. Saw the same thing in Georgia when a black police officer, just like the black woman in New Orleans, a black male police officer did the same thing in Georgia. Not much support either. But now I'm seeing $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 being donated, and I'm just skeptical. Ashley said, "Timeout. I thought that Father Hinton Sr. killed the cop who shot his son." No, that's what everybody else thought. That's what we all thought in the beginning. Turns out it was an off-duty sheriff deputy that he ran over. Well, I'm not gonna say off-duty. That was the rumor. I don't know if he was off-duty, but it was a sheriff deputy who had nothing to do with the shooting of his son that he killed. Which is why it changed a lot of people's opinion of the whole story. Because if he killed a cop that killed his son, I don't know. I think most people would disagree with it from a legal standpoint, but from just a father-son standpoint, I think most people would have been like, I don't agree, but I understand. But then when you kill somebody who had nothing to do with it, wasn't even on the scene, it's like, you kind of was reckless. Well, not kind of, you were reckless. But yeah. Supporting Rodney Hinton Jr. This is a GoFundMe setup. Give, Send, Go setup because GoFundMe won't allow it. He's raised $38K here. But the family set up another one. I saw another one that had $300K. I don't know if it's legit or not, but I did see another one set up that had over 300,000. And the reason why I titled this GoFundMe Money Wars, as you can see, this is why I'm talking about how his commissary is so full, you can't give him more money in his commissary. It's because this story right here, I think Mr. Man brought this up earlier. A woman who called a black child a slur has raised backlash, but also tons of money. So, a Caucasian woman at a park called a young black child, who, if I'm not mistaken, is autistic. I'm not 100% sure. I'm seeing a lot of people say he's autistic. Got into a whole verbal altercation where she was talking, and she called him the N-word, and she stuck a middle finger up and all this other stuff. And then, out of nowhere, she decided, because it went viral, and there's a lot of backlash is coming, she decides to set up a GoFundMe because she needs to be protected from racial hate, which I found funny. And she raised over $1 million. I seen all the white people donating to her campaign saying, because they kept bringing up Carmelo Anthony. They kept justifying defending her quote-unquote free speech and donating money to her because people donated money to Carmelo Anthony after he killed someone. So I want to show. Jenny says his lawyer hopefully will make a case for mental illness and crime of passion as hitting the wrong cop on impulse is definitely off. Rip to the innocent. Agreed. Her name was Shiloh Hendrix. That's the white woman. But this is the mother of the little boy. Now, at this point, it says she raised over $600K, but it's over $1 million now. Now, she's going after the account. She don't want the money to ever see the white woman. They did freeze the account. As far as last time I checked, yesterday, she cannot access the money, and the money can't be refunded as of yet. So if $1 million is sitting somewhere, and they gave her for calling a little boy the N-word. Ashley said she raised money on a Christian platform. It's not GoFundMe. I forgot the name of it. Oh, I got it right here. It's cash. It's Give, Send, Go. I think I have the actual. Yeah, this is the website. This is for Rodney Hinton Jr. But because Give, Send, Go, when you go to it and try to, it doesn't pop up anymore. Her campaign don't pop up anymore because they froze it, so you can't see it. This Give, Send, Go is the website. Mitchell said just like the white chick on Piers Morgan, she a grifter. She I seen her a few months ago. I think I brought her up before, but she just say nigga. She never say nigger. She say nigga to antagonize. She's trying to grift. The white dudes that support her found out she's a single mother and started accusing her of having a child with a black man, and it's a whole grift that she's trying to pull off, and she's gonna have to continue to go further to prove to them that she is who she says she is, and at some point she's gonna back out. Ashley says the comments from all the people who donated to his sick woman is insane, and also, did you guys hear that this white woman is married to a black man? The woman who said that the N-word, because I've seen her kids, the 2 kids she had with her were white. Ah, man. Please, God. Please, God. Don't let her be with no. Oh, no. Don't do it. Don't do that. I hope that's not true. But a video shows a Minnesota woman at a playground last week openly admitting to using a racist slur against a black child and garnered millions of views. But what's being equally appalling from some is that the woman has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in crowd funds. This is it right here. I think Shiloh Hendrix give, Send, Go donations filled with racist Nazi references. This is the woman here. Foreign said, I saw her too. It's for money. Piers Morgan played her. Yeah, he's just trying to get her to say stupid shit. And then in the next 4 years, when the public talk change a little bit, Because right now the tides are just swinging left and right. That whole free speech and what support you get. Trump in the office, so you can talk crazy on that right wing, far right side, and you'll get some financial support. In 4 years, all those videos will exist, and she'll do something to try and change her public image. Same thing Candace Owens did. Ashley said, I saw it on IG. I don't know how true it is, but if you give me your IG, I can DM it to you. I hope that ain't true. But this is the woman here who did it. I hate to, let's be honest. If I look at this woman, my first reaction would have been that she's probably on drugs. I saw a lot of people calling her a meth head and all that other stuff. You got these white people supporting a meth head saying the N-word. As she said, honestly, sometimes when I see these stories, it feels like a psyop. That's where I think this is. As she said, they love to do shit like to provoke us and distract us from what they're really doing. That's why I keep bringing up the money. I said with Carmelo Anthony, I think that there's people outside of this that are putting money in both of those accounts. The Austin Metcalf, the victim in that situation, and Carmelo Anthony. And then we see this story. I don't think these white people are just giving her money for saying the N-word. They just don't make sense. I know white people can be pieces of shit too, but they just don't. It seemed like all of this is to antagonize. I keep saying it. When did black people start going band for band with white people? When did we begin to use money to flex power? When we start doing that as a group? Like, no offense, we just don't move that way consistently. Instead, we do stuff where we pull money away from things. We say we're going to not go to a store or not shop at some retail store or something. We don't normally donate this type of money. That's why I believe that there's money being funded from outside, from third party, to antagonize. We've been saying it since the year started, since Trump got in office. They want people in the streets. And when they did that whole Trump protest across the country, it didn't get no media coverage. Because the right people wasn't in the streets. The right cause wasn't in the streets. No one cares that you don't like Trump. Regardless if you hate what he's doing right now with the economy, regardless what he's doing with foreign policy, no one cares that you don't like him and protest him in the street. You did it when you didn't have a reason. You did it last time he was in office. You were doing it when Biden was in office. Now that you might have a real reason to be protesting him, you did it so much now, you cry wolf. It's no point. We're sick of it. So they need a particular group to be in the streets. And I don't want to say they're trying to start a race war, but it needs something racial to happen to do whatever they have planned for the rest of the year. Virginia says, I saw a photo that does allegedly favor her kissing a black man, but some are saying it's not her, but somehow one tried to, one tattoo her via another relative, perhaps, not surprising, regarding name calling. Kiva says she looks like she lives in Tacoma. Aroma in Tacoma. Kiva says it's a sign for sure. Siri, not okay. Siri, okay. But yeah, I think that money is being used because people are complaining about the economy. And you got people donating this type of money. It's not adding up. But what else was next? Oh yeah, this is the GoFundMe. Sorry, yeah, the GoFundMe for the 5-year-old who's in the video. This is the one that has almost 400K so far. But yeah, and that's not the little boy in the video. Mitchell said the Irish white redheads think they black. Oh, you see the Irish, since Sinners came out, the Irish people been going back and forth with the people who live in Ireland, and they've been saying that they ain't the same. You ain't real Irish because you're not in Ireland. You don't actually celebrate the culture. You're American. So man, that language is starting to spread to other demographics all of a sudden. I've seen the same thing happen with a quote unquote Indian diaspora. Kendrick concerts be sending the change for a lot of young people all over the world. Hey man, we'll see. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, speaking of Give, Send, Go, as Ashley brought up earlier, the person who created it is more of a Christian evangelical right winger. I don't like using that right winger thing, but I guess you would consider him that based off the politics he's shown. Virginia says Redacted Podcast claims to have proof this is a psyop. I believe it is. I don't have any proof. I'm just My discernment is telling me this don't make sense. There's a GoFundMe every month now for something that happened that's going viral. People ain't got no money, so how they just donating? And when do people start running to GoFundMe for every cause? It's really, the real psyop to me is coming from the so-called white end of this. Because they're finding any reason to give somebody money. Are you giving somebody, why would her, talking about the Shiloh woman, why would her first instinct after that viral video be to create a GoFundMe to get money? That don't make sense. You would go 0 dark 30, you would just not post on social media, delete everything, or just not post, or just stand on and mind your business. Who convinced you that you should ask for money? I don't believe it. Keep saying that Soros money. Hey. Did he stepped down from something recently? I can't remember. I know the World Economic Forum, that guy who Klaus Schwab, how you say his name, he stepped down from the World Economic Forum. As he said, it's got George Soros written all over this, just like Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Yeah. But yeah, Give, Send, Go CFO defends donations to controversial campaigns. CFO says site supports freedom of speech. Company hosts fundraising efforts for Carmelo Anthony. Give, Send, Go says they are countering cancel culture. Minnesota mom raised over $700K, like it says over $1 million now, after calling child racial slur. Hendrix has raised nearly $1 million for expenses. She said are to protect her family from public outrage. Wells defended Hendrix, saying her words are not unprovoked. Were not unprovoked by the child. Wait, what? The child did something for you to use a racial slur? Come on, man. Shiloh is going to a dark moment. Just as much as this other family is. We want to be in all of these moments. So this is just his way of trying to get his platform to be bigger and try to overtake GoFundMe as the go-to platform. And we want everybody. The same thing, that website, what's the name of that website that everybody was going to at one point, and it kind of plateaued and nobody used it that much. I forgot the name of it. He also said the outrage over the racial slurs were mob mentality, which he said was ruining so many people's lives over the past several years. Give, Send, Go has also hosted fundraising efforts for the family of Carmelo Anthony, a teen who allegedly fatally stabbed a high school athlete in Texas. The family is raising money for legal fees and housing costs and has already got more than $350,000 in donations. He deserves the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in court of law, just like everyone does, Wells said. Wells says his company platform is free, but that they make money by asking users to donate to them as well. Ashley said, guarantee this woman was hired and paid to orchestrate this event, is giving crisis actor. I did see as well, the initial response was that the little boy was Somalian. Or at least East African. I saw a lot of people say that first. And yeah, it might be a situation where both sides of this are in on it. I don't know. I agree, actually. That might be what it is. Regina says the white guy said white people have been fed up since OJ and that the real racists are black people who are also the privileged ones, according to white anger. Oh, yeah. They, like I said, the more you see these white people in the streets, which this is a form of that, donating to this campaign, it's just them, the tides haven't turned, but they're now falling to the same state that black people have been in, where you feel powerless to the system. And instead of acknowledging that the system is broken, or at least it's not working for them anymore, they're going to just blame you. That's how this place is going to collapse at some point. When they finally turn and say everything is your fault. And they're going to turn, every group, when this world crumbles, is going to turn to black people and say it's y'all fault. Been getting kicked for the last couple of 100 years, but it's your fault that everything is failing. But anyway. And they still ain't got over OJ, have they? He's still not over OJ. Here. It don't really make sense. Let me show y'all this. 12-foot statue unveiled in Times Square challenges identity norms with subtle nod to Michelangelo's David. Let me play the video. It's a little clip I want to show. me show this.
And communicate the...
They put a statue. Now, I don't know if this is some social experiment or if this is actually something they posted and it's meant to stay there. But they posted what looks like a black woman statue, 12 foot tall, in Times Square, and it's a plump woman, and it's getting a lot of backlash. So yeah, people said that statue is a no. Honorable, what up?
Inner worlds that we have, and sometimes we misinterpret with one another to try and create an understanding and basically encourage empathy.
I have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lead. Clap your hands like sing along.
They've been doing this right here for a long time. They've been doing this since the 1800s, 1900 when they started doing film. They've painted black women as the mammy. I've seen a lot of backlash to that about Sinners too, when they made the love interest to Michael B. Jordan's character a bigger woman. But hey, but yeah, they keep celebrating this as the representation, and apparently it's not the only one. This one here is in Italy. Shows a young girl on the phone. I don't think this one is as controversial to people. I don't think this one is as controversial to people. But the other one definitely is. She represents a shared humanity, the Times Square website states. Yet the pose and ease of her stance often a subtle nod to Michelangelo's David through scale, material, posture. Grounded in stars, disrupts traditional ideas of triumph and challenges who we continue to immortalize. 12-foot statue of plus-size black woman in Times Square was inspired by Michelangelo's David, according to the official Times Square site. So, yeah. I saw somebody post this right here too. It's the brother who be on 12. He be on X, on people's head all day. He stand on his business at least. Why black women deserve better representation in public art. Mr. Man says all that statue needs is a crack. In the heart of Times Square, a new art installation towers above the crowd. It's a 12-foot bronze statue of a black woman by British artist Isaiah J. Price titled Grounded in the Stars. While the creator claims the statue honors everyday people and challenges outdated monument traditions, many black Americans are left asking, who exactly is this meant to serve? Despite its high-profile location and noble intent, the statue feels disconnected from the community it's supposedly uplifting. Rather than inspiring, it appears flat, uninspired, and emotionally vacant. Instead of invoking pride and strength, it leaves many viewers puzzled, or worse, indifferent. But yeah. Speaking of statues, by the way, I know you already saw this. French MEP demands the U.S. give us back the Statue of Liberty. A French member of the European Parliament has called for the U.S. to return the Statue of Liberty originally gifted by the French people to mark of the American independence because the U.S. no longer represents the values that led France to offer the statue. I could have sworn they said that statue has to do with the freedom of the slaves, because in the picture it's supposed to be a black woman, and if you look at her left leg, it's a chain. But I don't know if that's true. France should take back the Statue of Liberty because the U.S. no longer represents the values that led the French to offer the statue, a French Euro deputy said Sunday. Give us back the Statue of Liberty. Center-left politician Raphael Glucksmann said in a convention of his Palace central-left movement, we're going to say to the Americans who have chosen to side with the tyrants, to the Americans who who fired researchers for demanding scientific freedom, give us back the Statue of Liberty, he told cheering supporters. Hey, you got to come get it back in blood, homie. You asked for something, you got to come get it back. Hold on, let me hold on. Okay. What's this? Oh, yeah. I haven't kept up with the public words of Rob Snyder, like ever. I rarely see him on social media. But with this statue in Times Square, he had some words, and people started cooking them. Mr. Man said they changed the Statue of Liberty just like they changed the nose off the pyramids. Huh? I want to show this. This is Rob Snyder, actor Rob Snyder. This page said the left torn down statue of American heroes and founding fathers and instead put up a statue of a random fat woman. It's an intentional uglification and mockery of our great country. The Sphinx, yeah. Rob Snyder said replacing people that built this great country with fat, angry people who have accomplished nothing. Keep saying, I think the French have enough things to worry about rather than being concerned about the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, how about worry about your president? I ain't gonna get into that. You two going up flagging this anyway. Yeah, weren't they walking around with guillotines a few years ago? One thing, the French may not be known for, at least in the last couple decades, maybe a century or two, they may not be known for just going out and fighting anybody in wars, but they're known for throwing coups. I think it was last year, or at least during the COVID situation, they were running around the streets with guillotines. Didn't they have the Yellow Jackets moving over there a few years ago too? All right. Let me play this. After he said it about replacing the great country with fat, angry people, somebody posted this. He said, "Where was his energy when Hollywood directors had you on all fours in hotel rooms doing something strange for another forgettable straight-to-DVD role? Chill with the tough talk when your manhood has been compromised."
You know, I mean, there was a gross director, and it happened to me. You know, I mean, I was in a hotel room, and I was gonna, you know, I was weird. I didn't think it was gonna be a weird situation, but it was a famous director just before I was really famous. And the next thing I know, I'm in a room with this guy. He's in a chair, and you know, comes out in a bathrobe and sits in this chair. And the next thing you know, I'm like, he's asking me to like crawl on the ground and then to crawl toward him. And I just like, it was just this disgusting feeling. I look over there, and this is a guy, he's passed away now.
It's crazy to me how when women accuse directors and producers of sexually assaulting them and they don't give a name, the men normally say his name so we can know who it is. This is a grown man. The man who did this to him is dead, and he still won't say his name because he still thinks he has an opportunity in the industry. He's afraid that if he exposed somebody else, they're going to expose him for what he really did. You might have said no in that moment, but you said yes in another. Mr. Man says French got to worry about Abraham guy in Africa. Hey, I don't talk about him much because I'm waiting to see what happened because they've been, if I'm not mistaken, they don't try to kill him a dozen plus times, maybe more. They don't put a couple assassination attempts on him. As a matter of fact, somebody who's close to him, I think I talked about that last week or the week before, I'm sorry. Somebody close to him said it was offered like $5 million and they didn't do it. And I was like, well, how do they get access to you to offer you $5 million? I'll be looking at you kind of sideways. Keeper says incestuous leadership. Yeah. A lot. Yeah. Candace Owens exposed him. That's probably the best version of Candace Owens when she decided to go after somebody for something like that. Yeah. it looked crazy. But anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show this too. People flip-flopping.
Just real quick, give motherfucking black folk. I'm just leaving out of the little place, get my little peanut butter crunch bowl, and there's some shit I see pretty regularly, and I just got motherfucking sick of it this morning. So I go in there to place my little order. It's a white lady in front of me. She at the motherfucking register. So black female behind the register taking her motherfucking order. She just all motherfucking smiles when the motherfucking white lady walk up there. White lady placed her motherfucking order and walk down to the right to wait on her motherfucking order. Here I come stepping right motherfucking up. And her whole motherfucking facial expression changed with me. Now she motherfucking, can I take your order? And I mean this with the utmost motherfucking respect. Just like I told her, you can't take a motherfucking thing from me until you give me that same motherfucking level of happiness you just gave that motherfucking white lady. Give me the same motherfucking smiles you just motherfucking gave her. She ain't tell no motherfucking joke. She ain't did a motherfucking thing but walk up here to this motherfucking counter and you like the motherfucking Kool-Aid woman. So you can't take my motherfucking order until you give me the same motherfucking level of happiness you motherfucking gave her.
You know, it's funny. You're holding that one black woman in that restaurant more accountable than you did Kamala Harris. You spent a year justifying everything that woman did, coming online, talking crazy about people, but you never criticized her for what she wasn't doing. She wasn't giving your people the respect or the tangible they deserve in politics, but you want to hold that girl accountable in the restaurant. Now, I can agree with you that a lot of times when it comes to customer service, unfortunately, a lot of black people tend to look at other black people and not want to give you that same. I think it's because of, and I didn't agree with it years ago when they said black people are too comfortable with other black people. Like, I thought it was a good thing when I could walk up to another black man and say, "What's up, bruh? Hey, bruh." When I could talk to you in a more familiar way. But to some people, that's disrespect. At least familiarity breeds disrespect. Because people, you black and I'm black, so I can just be whatever with you, it can turn to a disrespectful tone. But please don't make a video talking crazy about a woman in a restaurant, saying that you're not letting her take your order until she show you respect. You should have been willing to say, "I'm not going to vote for you until you offer tangibles." But yeah, anyway. Richard Man says, Candace Owens restaurant. Keeper said, "He's so annoying to listen to. Sounds like a cartoon character." Craig says he's no longer a supporter of Black Girl Magic. Oh yeah, he right after the election, he sued a couple women, didn't he? He sued a couple black women, a few black men for using his saying they sampled his song. So him making this video, we all know that was a play. We know for a fact that the Kamala Harris campaign was paying people to promote her in media. So we already know he was getting his money. Now he getting back to the real him. Keeper said exactly. Richard Man said she was a tether. He said washed up. Damn. But yeah, don't be super stand on it with a damn restaurant worker and not a politician. That's all I'm saying. Be even across the board. Virginia said, "I agree with Mystery Man. All kinfolk and all skinfolk and kinfolk. All kinfolk ain't your kinfolk." And I've experienced what dude is complaining about way too many times in Seattle. I'm gonna be honest. Because of where I grew up with 95% black people in a small sprinkle of white, Native American, and Mexican. So when I moved up here to Seattle, it was a culture shock when I went to high school up here. It was such a culture shock that I didn't eat lunch at school at all because the food was just so much different. And the way people react and respond to you, especially because my accent up here, especially then, was even stronger. And so it led to a communication problem and the way people talk and move. I remember I came up here and first thing I was talking to a teacher and I said, "Ma'am," and she was so shocked that I said that. And I was, "Oh, that's Southern house." She was like, "Oh, that's Southern hospitality." And then when you go in the customer service places, the culture is just so different up here. I'm gonna be honest, the culture up here reminds me of just the Asian personality. I don't know how to explain it. Like when you're around like Asian people up here, how it just comes like, it's hard to explain. That's kind of the personality of the whole state, or at least the city or the state to me, or everywhere I've been. I don't know how to explain it. It just reminds me of that everywhere. The black people I do see who are not from here tend to have a little bit more different energy, but if you grew up here, it just is what it is. Some people ain't got it, some people do. It's a lot different. I can't say that I've had too many disrespectful moments, but I probably have had more disrespectful moments where I'm from people outside of my community. Like the corner stores are always owned by the Arabs, and they were very disrespectful. And as I got older, I realized how they was cheating people, robbing people. They would change the prices of the goods every day. Like you would walk into the store and something will be $5 or $1.50. And you come in a week later and they just change the price. They try to just change the price. I've seen a person who ran a store in real time raised the price on somebody because they said something they didn't like. They was arguing with a customer, a black dude, and the Arab dude decided, you know what, it's not this much now, it's this much. Like, so when you realize you were, that's a lot worse than I've had up here, at least. Mission said, I'm in Boston. They all races here. I know you hear a lot of Mondays. Isn't that a slur in Boston for black people? Call you a Monday? Virginia said, the irony of Seattle, Duke, most black folks migrated from southern states and left their hospitality down there. Hey, when they come up here, they just lose it, man. I remember my mama had a lot of arguments with people up here because she obviously grew up in North Carolina, talked real fast, strong southern accent. And she obviously was she would just speak to people. You walk past it, hey, hello, hello, hello. And at some point when you get certain looks, like you bothering people for speaking to them, you just stop speaking to people and you mind your business more. And that could just be being in a bigger city. We grew up in a really small town where everybody knew each other, less than 2,000 people. So when you go to a bigger city, it's like people are on the hustle. People minding their business, leave me alone, really. So you automatically just change some of your character just because you're in a different environment. So Virginia says, and maybe it's because of how weird Seattle is. Facts. Richmond said, Indian store here put stickers on the Arizona tea, 99 cents label to $1.99. Yeah. And that's when you realize, when you oppression maketh a wise man mad. When I went back there a few years ago for my mom's funeral, I went into a store and there was a black dude with his girl. And the store owner was he had to be like a 19-year-old Arab dude. Had to be. And he was talking so flagrant to this black dude. The black dude was trying to buy like a Black & Mild. He was trying to pay for something. And the Arab little young dude was being so disrespectful, laughing in his face. And I walked out and said, I'm not finna buy nothing from here. I don't care if he's just joking, it's disrespectful. In front of his woman. And then I realized he probably some 19-year-old whose father put him in charge of this store because, you know. And another thing they do down in that neighborhood, when the Arabs buy a store, they'll then stop paying to have the gas refilled. So it turns into just a convenience store you come buy goods from. So you're not even giving the people in the neighborhood access to gas in their near them, so they don't have to go 5 miles out to get to a store. People treat you how they can treat you when you don't have any power. So Keeper said it's called the Seattle Freeze. Okay, yeah. My mama dealt with that a lot because she was really talkative and it kind of pissed her off a lot, but she finally just started minding her business though. Except some people. Some people, you see their energy. You see a black man or woman, they kind of moving with a bop. And you go, hey, you know they're going to say hey back, and it's just like a little small, quick conversation. You move on. But yeah. Anyway, speaking of hospitality, let's move on. More update to the story. I talked about it earlier. 3 former Memphis officers acquitted in fatal beating of Tyre Nichols. We talked about this case. Obviously, this is an update to this. Let me go ahead and just play the video.
Former Memphis police officers in the fatal 2023 beating of Tyre Nichols, a case that sparked nationwide protests. Our Chief Justice Correspondent, Pierre Thomas, has more for us. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. Today, the families of those police officers are breathing a sigh of relief. But the Nichols family is devastated, calling the verdict an injustice.
This morning, 3 of the 5 former Memphis police officers charged in the death of Tyre Nichols acquitted by a state jury in a unanimous decision.
Mystery Man said all-white jury. All-white jury that wasn't from the city that the case was going on in. They went outside of the city to get white people. The town it happened in was majority black. They went and got a majority white jury. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty.
The jury deliberating for 8.5 hours over 2 days. The defendants, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, seen crying and hugging their attorneys and family after the verdict was read.
Was I surprised that there wasn't a single guilty verdict on any of the counts or any of the lesser included offenses, given the overwhelming evidence that I think that we presented? Yes, I was surprised. Do I have an explanation for it? No.
But the jury apparently bought the defense argument that the 3 former officers specifically did not deliver the kind of blows that would have killed Nichols.
Yeah, and that's why these 3 got off. The other 2 are going down because they're saying that the other guy is the one who actually kicked him in the head and attacked him, the other 2. So they're saying these 3 technically aren't the ones who physically harmed him that would lead to his death, even though they stood by and watched it happen. That's neglect. Like, you let your partner, your 2 other officers beat on a man and they don't do nothing. My fault. What up, Craig? I saw your comment earlier. But yeah, hold on. Okay. Virginia says these dudes are part of the 2 fraternal orders to include the police. Was it a blood ritual? They also found out that at least one of the dudes is Jamaican. I don't know if that's that important in this situation, but that became a topic of conversation as well. But on the state charges, they are found not guilty. You still have the federal charges, though. Ashley said definitely a ritual. Well, their defense was because he ran from his car and they were trying to subdue him. They had it. One dude said that he had to kick him. He said he had to kick him in order to get him to put his hand behind his back. And I'm like, it's 5 of y'all, and y'all can't get his hand behind his back. Like, who are we allowing to be police officers when you got 5 men that can't do anything with 1? We got to kick him in his head and punch him and tase him. Like, it just don't make sense. Now, who are we allowing to be police officers? An out-of-town jury from majority white county took about 8.5 hours over 2 days to find the 3 men not guilty in all charges after a 9-day trial in state court in Memphis, which is majority black. Think about it for a second. They went to a majority white county to get an all-white jury to be over a case that's in Memphis, which is majority black. After the jury verdict was read, the defendants hugged their lawyers and relatives, and former officers cried outside the courtroom. One relative yelled, "Thank you, Jesus." I do find this to be a strange dynamic too, because this is not it's not typically how it looks. You have 3 black men coming out of a court whose family are celebrating them getting off on a possible beating a man to death. And you have another black family that's disappointed. I wonder if there's any sort of crossover on that from the 3 officers' family. Do they look at that at all? It's a little bit strange that you're celebrating him getting off knowing he was a part of killing another man, another black man. I don't know. Then again, if it's your cousin and your son or your husband, maybe you look at it differently. Is there any more on this? That's it. I think that's pretty much it on that. Like I said, we still got the federal case. I did see also one of the 2 other men, 2 that weren't a part of this, who already pled guilty to the federal charges. They tried to, I don't want to say snitch, but they tried to include one of these officers in their charges, saying that he kicked him as well. He's a part of this with us. So a cop snitching on another cop is almost worse than a criminal snitching on another one. Because you killed a man willingly with somebody, and now you're trying to make sure that another cop go down with you. It's crazy. These are the charges that were put on them. Right here. 2nd-degree murder, assault, kidnapping and bodily injury, kidnapping, deadly weapon, officer misconduct, unauthorized authority, officer misconduct, refraining from duty, officer oppression, pretty much all the same case, charge to put on all of them, but it beat the case. Then this case. High school senior shot dead while filming TikTok door knock prank. Michael Bosworth Jr., 18, was shot and killed by a homeowner in what police initially reported was a possible residential burglary in progress, in Spotsylvania County, Virginia, on Saturday, May 3rd. Suspect Tyler Butler, 27, was arrested and charged with 2nd-degree murder after he allegedly fired shots at Bosworth and 2 other teenagers, fatally wounding Bosworth. So this black man is in his house at 3 a.m. 3 white teenagers are kicking down his garage, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or they're kicking his back door. I thought they were kicking on the garage. Okay, they're kicking on his back door. He notices that, gets his weapon, fires, and one of them is wounded, and one of them is fatally wounded. The cops get there, go to the teenagers. The teenagers tell them, "Oh, we were playing a prank. We were playing a door knock, but it's 3 a.m. and you're kicking at his door. This ain't no little run, not little knocking and run. This is like stomping at the door like you're trying to break in." And keep in mind, in the area that he live in, there have been reported break-ins from his neighbor. When I saw this, my initial reaction was, how did he even get arrested? Why did he even go downtown at all that day? It should have been like a next day thing. Hey, tomorrow at 6-7, meet us at the place and we'll talk to him. We'll talk to you and investigate and do some questioning. The fact that he was put in cuffs, booked that night is crazy, or that morning is crazy. He's in his own home and he got 3. I don't like doing this anymore, but we immediately see stories like this and say, "Oh, if it was the opposite way, look, we know." But there should be no reason that he should have been put in cuffs and immediately booked instead of just questioned later on. Mr. said neighbors called the police seeing them. Kerry Crown said, "Free him." Exactly. One of the more, it should be a pretty open and cut case. But I did see somebody talk about this yesterday. And they said that one of the things that the prosecutors are going to bring up is imminent threat. If you were upstairs or you were away from danger and they're at your door, they're going to say that, was it an imminent threat for you to go to them and shoot them when they're not in your house? Because in a lot of places, according to them, as a civilian, you can only defend yourself. You're not allowed to use deadly force to defend property. Police are allowed to use deadly force to defend property. Civilians can only use deadly force to defend themselves. You talk about the castle doctrine, the stand your ground law. That's about defending yourself. And the reason why the castle doctrine is, for the most part, if you're in your home and you feel like you're in danger, a threat to your life, then you can use deadly force. So the question becomes, they're going to say in the court at least, were these 3 teenagers a threat to him? Did they have weapons? Were they in the home? And other questions like that. Unfortunately, I agree with this person who talked about it. I don't think this is going to be an easy case for him to beat. It should be. But because of how they're going to read these words, the legalese that's going to go on, I don't know if this case is going to be the easiest for him to beat. As I said, a high school senior was killed in a TikTok prank going wrong. Although I'm pretty sure his defense is going to ask for the TikTok videos of him doing this previously. Have they ever done this before? Michael Bosworth Jr., 18, was shot and killed by a homeowner in what the county sheriff Nitz reported was a possible residential burglary. Yada, yada, yada. We went through all this. Michigan said he's black. He's going to prison. And the fact that the teenagers are white is probably even the biggest thing in this whole case. That's what's sad. Do you got any more of this? While no charges were initially filed due to an ongoing investigation, Butler was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, malicious wounding, and 2 counts of use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, the sheriff's office reported. He is currently being held in jail with no bond. That's crazy. Imagine being in your house 3 a.m, minding your business, and somehow they come bother you, and now you in jail with no bond on a murder charge. Crazy. Pray for the best for him. Honorable says, what about the neighbors saying their homes had break-ins? Yeah, I said that. The neighbors said there been break-ins in the area. So like I said, it seems like it should be an open and shut case, pretty easy. But that imminent threat, was he in danger? Did those 3 white boys have weapons? That's what the prosecutor's going to put against them. Did they have weapons, and was he in danger? And I don't know if he's going to be able to get past that. I don't know if he gets hit with like 25 years or nothing, but I don't think he gets away completely. I hope he do. I'm praying he do, but I don't think they're going to let him not do some type of time. All right, another crazy case. I said a few weeks ago to stop knocking on these people's doors when you lost. Use your phone and the map you got. New York town official facing charges after shooting lost DoorDash driver. A New York town official is facing a slew of charges after allegedly shooting a DoorDash delivery driver who was lost and looking for directions in the town of Chester last week. The DoorDash driver suffered serious non-fatal injuries, the New York State Police said in a statement released Sunday. As of Tuesday, the victim remaining hospitalized after undergoing surgery. It marks the latest instance of someone in the U.S. being shot after making an apparent innocent mistake, like ringing the wrong doorbell or pulling into the wrong driveway. And by the way, I think this guy was African. If I'm not mistaken. According to New York police, the driver had attempted to deliver food to the residents in the Valerie Drive neighborhood in Chester last week. Chester is roughly 50 miles north of Manhattan. The driver, who police didn't identify, struggled to find. Struggled to find the exact location and approached several homes asking for directions before arriving at the residence of John Riley III, the town's highway superintendent, police said. I almost said, damn, so he sued the DoorDash. Hey, I don't know how this go for him. Hold on. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be mean, but how did he get lost? Did his whatchamacallit send him to the wrong direction? Was the neighborhood roads kind of all over the place where it didn't tell him directly what house to go to? That's gonna be DoorDash's defense. But crazy case. Hey man, if you lost, you got to just call up the person you're delivering the stuff to or text them. You can't just be knocking on people's doors and ringing doorbells and pulling to people's driveways no more. They're just shooting first and asking questions later. Then I gotta show this. Let me show this.
Go back to your country. Go back to your country, nigger. We don't welcome black people. Black people should go. Go back to Africa. You look so fucking ugly with your dark skin color. Go back to your country. Nigger, 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 nigger. Do you eat watermelon? I'm going to send this to my boyfriend because he's white and he's your master.
You know, this is a weird era. They allow people to walk up to them in public and talk crazy to them, disrespect them, and just record it. There was a time when people weren't as confident to do stuff like this. I don't want to promote violence, but it's not even about being offended by what she was saying and getting emotional. How in the hell are people just walking up to black people, talking crazy, and y'all recording and talking about do your thing? Y'all will record these people in front of you, calling you everything but a child of God, and then go online and expect them to find their real name and get them fired and stuff. It's like, bruh, you could have handled that without a camera. Like, come on, man. Y'all letting people get way too comfortable, talk crazy to you. And then, what makes it even worse, this happened.
For what I have done, I think we're all humans, and why I have such an opinion is my ex-boyfriend, he was brainwashed me for a long time, and now I realize it's totally wrong. I shouldn't put my personal emotions on others. I think we are all the same. And you're cultivated, you have quality, you know about culture, and you teach English. So I think you probably, in some ways, you are even better than me. And I shouldn't even have such things. I'm really sorry for that. Forgive you.
Move on. Why do y'all be hugging these people that talk crazy and disrespect you because they use some BS apology? What are we doing, man? What is going on with black people? Travis been saying for the last couple months that black people have lost their black soul, and what he mean by that is we ain't acting like black people no more. In a positive way, I mean, and I mean the negative way as far as we're not moving the way we should be moving. Like, you know that BS saying people always say where they'll say you're not finna do that to me. I'm not my ancestors, as in, you're not finna, hit us with a water hose and do all this other stuff. We're gonna fight back. Even though most of these Negroes ain't gonna do nothing. Based off these videos we see. You got people walking up to you in public, no weapon, nothing, calling you the N-word, all type of names, and you sitting here recording them and then giving them a hug afterwards after they give you a BS apology. What is going on with black people? What is going on? Adam said, child, this irritated my soul. Craig said, stop Asian hate. Keep said, the fact is, it's the fact that she's so comfortable doing it. Completely. Like, if you didn't know any better, you would assume she had some type of mental illness or something. Like she was going through some type of a breakdown or something, but she just, it's crazy. Mr. said, so much for passport bros. I don't know. There's a video going viral of some Asian girl telling some dude that she liked the chocolate. And remember I told y'all in China, apparently the rates at which that black men are dating over there is going up. Because a lot of those dudes are getting paid, given money by the government for rent and stuff. I gave my reason why that is, some very conspiracy related reason. But she said the Asian woman told the black dude, I'm rice, you chicken. It's perfect. Yeah. I'm rice, you chicken. Keep said, no, biz, keep your apology. She's probably not black American. I would imagine so. I would hope so. Craig said, please tell me these were not black Americans who forgave her. I hope not. Adam said, did this happen in her country? You have to look past the skin color of them folks, not like us. I think somebody said this happened in New York, which would go with the whole theory that they're probably not black American. I mentioned, yeah, she chicken and she rice and he is chicken. Yeah. He said rice and chicken go together good. I was laughing. And the Asian dudes in the comment section talking foul, calling her all type of names, but that's how it go. Honestly, nothing would stop them man from getting sex for 50 cents. One thing you gotta know, I'ma be a nigga for life. Richmond said that was China. You sure? I could have. Well, you're right. I don't know for sure because when I looked up the whatchamacallit, it said that this is supposedly happening in NYC. I couldn't find the actual whatchamacallit for it. Richmond laughing. Oh man. You looked it up. Okay. When I looked it up, it said that it didn't come to a conclusion on it. But yeah, that was I think that was I forgot when that was, like late last week, maybe Friday. I don't say that's not New York. Ain't no. Oh no. I'll take y'all word for it though. All right. Shannon Sharpe's lawyer on how Michelle Bundy Evans killed her husband to be with Sharpe. I'm not gonna stay on this long. The real story is the next story after this. I'm doing this to show that I was right. I want to make sure I didn't misspeak. She absolutely killed her husband. Now she's saying she killed her husband because he was abusive. Even though she also says that she was cheating on her husband with Shannon Sharpe, and Shannon Sharpe asked her to leave her husband for him. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I would imagine somebody who's extremely abusive to you, you probably not be quick to cheat on that person with somebody, and then you saying you only killed them because they were abusive, but you made sure to point out that Shannon Sharpe told you to leave your husband for him. It sounds more like, as his headline said, you killed your husband to be with Shannon Sharpe. That's what it sounds like. Mr. said she don't believe it. She too old. She was too old. Hey man, people said trash. I gotta go through the article. That's pretty much what the headline is. The whole thing. That's pretty much the whole article. She did an interview with the Sun, and I'll play a small clip from it here. Let me play this.
He had asked me to break up with my husband at the time. We were just dating, so I was dating Shannon and my husband at the same time. Shannon asked me to break up with my husband. And I don't recall for sure, but I think I did.
Crazy. She look like Fiona.
And so, it's like, wait a minute, you want me to be with just you, but you want to move somebody into your.
I said, no, I think she meant that her current husband was someone she was dating at the time. You sure? Because the entire article was she was saying that the husband that she killed was back in, he was messing around with Shannon Sharpe back in 2010. And the husband, she spent 3 years in prison for the murder. So I don't know if she was saying that the current husband is the one she wanted to leave Shannon Sharpe for, or the one she was dating at the time is the one she's married to now. I don't know about that. He was from Shrek. Richard Man says she on the spectrum.
Your house and not even tell me. So that's what it stemmed from. He's not a faithful person, so I wasn't going to be faithful to a non-faithful person. It just doesn't work that way. Not for me anyway.
Can you tell us just broadly, I know it's probably painful to relive this situation, but can you tell us generally what happened that day?
It was fighting, and usually we fought on the phone and not in person. So it was the biggest argument that we ever got in. And he was.
Yeah. Alma says, them using that old photo of her when the story dropped, and this is the reality, crazy. He was saying something is off about her for sure. I'm going to keep saying she killed a man. Now, she said the man was abusive, so I'm going to leave it there. She said he was abusive. She killed an abusive husband. Yeah, if you believe that part of it. I'm just saying. So y'all saying she seemed off, that kind of fits. That fits with what she did.
He was controlling, he was domineering, he was manhandling me beforehand, and he wanted to have sex, and I told him no. Because
like I said, I don't want to cast anything on these people and say that they're completely lying. But I think Shannon's one of those dudes that's into extremely rough sex. He has a very dominant personality. I think in the bedroom, Shannon liked to dominate. He liked to be in complete control. I think Shannon Sharpe's sexual appetite is just below the real thing. When I say real thing, I mean rape. I think he likes to go to that line, but like I said, I don't know. I don't know how far he's went. But I'm just saying, based off of what she said and the other girl said, it seems to be a pattern in how he even talked on his show when he talked about women and sex. He's very, Shannon's an aggressive guy, I guess. Mr. Man says she's the type that you would wake up and she's sitting there staring at you at midnight. I don't say, I think they were both seeing other people, and Shannon wanted her to get rid of the person for him. She said husband. Mr. Man says Shannon Sharpe reminds me of Ray from Scary Movie. I don't say she's kind, she's submissive. She's kind of submissive. She like black baby sauce. He taught that young girl to say that shit too. He trained him. Shannon liked to train them how he want them to carry themselves, and once he burned out on them, he moved on to the next girl.
you gave it to somebody else. I didn't only tell him no, I told him why. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. So he overpowered me, put me to my knees, put his penis in my mouth. And after he got enough of that, he put me on the bed. And, this was all a struggle.
I'm going to ask something that might be a little sensitive or might sound insensitive, I should say. But I'm going to go ahead and ask it because it's a question that I'm sure people are wondering. Why didn't you file a police report when he raped you?
Because I was scared for my life. He said he would use it. Everybody he knows, and he knows lots of police officers. So I didn't know that if I went down there, that would be one of the people that he knows. Atlanta has a problem with corruption down there.
Oh, shit. The niggas is corrupt. He got too many connections. They'll help him. Craig Counsel said, Lord, Mercy Man said, it looks like Roseanne Barr on meth. Look, man, let's just say the woman has been through some traumatic events in her life, and it has affected her physical look. Let's just say that. Let's just give her that credit. Keeper says, no, she looks like she a witch on Hocus Pocus. That's a good one. That's good. But yeah, Shannon, ain't looking good for it. Oh, by the way, the young girl, I ain't gotta show the article. The young girl who was born in 2004, it seems to be she's now trying to charge her fan, because now, keep in mind, she gained 400,000 followers since she put this case on Shannon Sharpe. So she's still trying to get her shit off. She's trying to charge $2,000 for the sex tape. But she's trying to do it like in a secret way, even though there's no way it's gonna be secret. The second you put that tape out, it's gonna be all over the internet. But they saying she's trying to sell her sex tape with Shannon Sharpe for $2,000. Virginia says, I love black men and would never choose anything else regardless. But when I see a self-hate Negro choose a vampire who now wants to take him for all he got, no sympathy. Oh yeah, it is what it is. Shannon Sharpe seemed to have been moving this way for a long time. He never learned his lesson. All his former bosses and jobs try to cover up for him when he would say slick stuff on and get jammed up, and they would find a way to get him off. And he just keep doing the same thing. Yeah, he never learned. Keep saying vampire. That's why they hear. Oh man. All right. Next up, story kind of tied to that. Judge delays Sean Combs jury selection concerned about cold feet. Judge Ann said said he feared jurors might grow uneasy over the weekend and drop off the planet before the trial begins on Monday. So now the judge is in fear that the jury is going to get cold feet and not be a part of the process. I'm going to say this too. Some of the star witnesses that's a part of this case are now can't be found. So that's why the judge is saying he don't know if the jury is going to stay with it, because you got star witnesses that's just disappearing. They can't find them. You see here, Diddy trial victim 3 never cooperated with feds, never wanted to testify. Federal prosecutors are taking a big gamble with one of these star witnesses in Diddy's sex trafficking trial because the woman they call victim 3 has always made it clear she does not want to testify. During jury selection this week, lead prosecutor admitted the feds does not know whether the alleged victim, one of Diddy's ex-girlfriends, intends to appear in court to testify against him. Comey said the woman does not live locally. There's no issue getting in touch with her attorney. She may not even, there's an issue getting in touch with her attorney, and she may not even show up to court despite a subpoena. Hey man, I'm gonna say this. As of right now, in public, what we know in public, the only thing we know is there's a video of him beating Cassie. But allegedly, there's other tapes they have that Diddy's defense is saying will paint a different picture. That the violence that was happening was not one direction. It was bi-directional. That according to Diddy and his defense team, they have tapes proving Cassie was as much of a fighter as him. I don't know if that equals a woman and a man fighting. I don't know if that's an equal thing. But hey, that's his defense. Honorable says we ain't heard nothing else about that major deal. Mystery man, y'all acting like Shannon is some Rhodes Scholar. He's a big dumb jock. He's shown himself to be that, definitely. Honorable says, I'm so confused. What is Diddy's trial about again? Who and where are the victims? Well, he's on trial for the same thing they got for trafficking. And for trafficking, pretty much. That's pretty much the gist of his thing. For trafficking, sexual assault and abuse. That's pretty much his case. And Cassie is there to prove that he was doing it. That's why she's the biggest witness. But once again, we don't have any proof of this. And all the people associated with the case, I mean, when they came out and said that what happened, they were sex workers, the men and the women. So I don't know how this gonna go. Every day, this case don't look as much of a. It don't look like his chances of winning seem to be getting better and better. Chris said this is bigger than Diddy. Honorable said the video Cassie, but the Cassie video has nothing to do with the case, in my understanding. Free Diddy, child. Well, that's more of a character thing. That's why he made sure him and his defense, they said they don't want that video to be allowed in the court. That's why they pointed out that the people who put the tape out was a CBS or whoever it was, how it was edited. They edited that video and the full version was deleted. So now it cannot be used in evidence. So now that character assault that would have did, it can't be used. So they got to find something else. What's the real, what do you have on him? Other than he's a freaky dude that had a team of people coming to clean after he had these sex parties. Like, what else do you have? That he was on drugs, that they did drugs at parties? Like, I don't know. By the way, here are the A-listers mentioned in the Diddy trial. Obviously Kanye West, Mike Myers. Mike Myers. Myers' ties to Combs is unknown, if there's any at all. The former, so basically when they were choosing the jury, selecting people for jury, they had a questionnaire and they asked you, do you know these people? So they asked people, do they know Kanye West, Michael Myers, Michelle Williams, Lauren London, his son, Dallas Austin, Cassie, Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan, Aubrey O'Day, obviously Don Richards. They asked him, did he know these people? The one that stuck out on this list was Mike Myers. I said, man, if Diddy got Mike Myers on one of them tapes, my God. Honorable said, and she about to show up in those people court with a big belly, pregnant again. Oh, that's on purpose. That's to gain more sympathy. I'm not saying the only reason why she got pregnant is for the case file. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that that's a part of this. Her being pregnant during this trial, make her, I'm a mother, I'm a wife now. I went through this traumatic experience. Because I don't care what nobody say, regardless of whether or not you think how much of a victim you believe she is, she absolutely has some dirt on her. She has dirt on her. We heard the rumors about what was going on with some of the women back in the day with Cassie and how the abuse that Diddy was inflicting on these women, Cassie was a part of it. It reminded me of that TV show. Have any of y'all watched the TV show 1923? Which is a spinoff of that Yellowstone TV show. It was all right. The Yellowstone show was all right. But in that show, 1923, there's a very wealthy man in that show who gets a young girl and her friend to pretty much be his sex toys. One of them he convinces to get into that what's that shit called BDSM, where they be beating and whipping on women, and one of them likes it so much that she goes full throttle into it, and end up killing another girl, and she becomes his pet. So he has this woman in his house who he brings other women to, who she just beats and mauls these women all the time. That's what I think Diddy is. I think Diddy gets a girl, trains them, and bring other people in to act out these fantasies. That's what I believe Diddy's into. But yeah, I think Diddy brings other women and men in to perform these sexual things. And I think Cassie was absolutely a part of it. Mitchell said he was dressed as Dr. Evil. Honorable, that's the white Michelle Williams? Yeah, no, that's the Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child, Michelle Williams. Honorable sound like she was a madman. Keeper said that part was crazy. Yeah. All right, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the Diddy stuff. But an update to someone else that should have been on that list of celebrities they should know. Bishop T.D. Jakes will never stop preaching, but he's stepping back.
And we started not to do it this way, but the thing that moved me was I wanted to share it with our e-church. Well, guess we ought to go
I'm sorry, yeah, madam. My bad, madam. You meant to say she's a madam.
home. Please be good to our people.
Sound a little scared, don't you?
Please help them. The humility that you see is real. The weight is unbelievable.
I feel the rain. It's raining all over me. I'm moist. Call and response, I said I'm moist.
Hey, man. What a surprise. What a shocker that the second the Diddy trial starts, you step down. I'm not saying it's related. It's just real close. Happened real close. But I'm gonna say Lucifer knocking on the door. Go ahead and answer him, Bishop. Benjamin said, can't believe people still believe in this crap after being at a Diddy party. People believe in their faith because it makes them comfortable. Bishop T.D. Jakes made them comfortable. So no matter what they heard about him, no matter what they may have seen, it made them comfortable to go to his church and hear him preach and make them feel good and go back home. It was just a routine for them. Play it. Have you been swallowed up?
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you...
Oh, man, that was flagrant. But yeah, that step down didn't sound very, it didn't sound like an exit that was exciting. It sounded very low and very, like he was afraid of something on the way, and maybe perceptions were going to change towards him. You got to go behind the scenes and make sure he's able to protect certain things, protect as much as he can at least. Benjamin says he was comfortable with Justin Bieber. Keep it laughing. So yeah. But another person, it ain't just T.D. Jakes, not a person, another entity, should I say. Maybe Diddy's getting some get back. A federal lawsuit accuses Casamigos and Don Julio of spiking their tequilas with cane spirit. Well, the company that runs these two is a company that Diddy sued. So the company that Diddy sued, their subsidiaries are being sued because they was basically selling fake tequila. They were not making real tequila. Let me play this video to explain it.
All right. Some big news in the bar and restaurant world and liquor industry this week. And if you're a fan of tequila, you're going to want to pay attention because it involves two major players and brand names everybody knows. Don Julio and Casamigos. Now, as you can see on these labels, they claim these bottles contain 100% pure agave. Well, according to a massive class action lawsuit that just dropped in the Eastern District of New York, that is categorically false. The lawsuit accuses these brands' parent company, Diageo, of straight up lying about what's actually in these bottles. It claims that they have been diluting this tequila with cane sugar distillates, which is basically corn syrup, which is disgusting. And
by the way, didn't RFK recently say that he wants to get rid of high fructose corn syrup out of a lot of the foods we eat? But anyway.
Also 100% illegal if true. Now, the lawsuit was brought by 3 plaintiffs who are no slouches. 2 are mixologists, 1 is a sushi restaurant, and it's seeking damages upwards of $5 million, claiming that they and millions of others of us have been shelling out big bucks all these years, paying for premium tequila, when in actuality we've been drinking alleged, diluted, adulterated corporate Kool-Aid.
Hey, man. maybe Diddy got more friends than we think. So around the time his trial starts, we see the company that he sued a little while ago, last year. That same company is now being sued for selling fake tequila, pretty much diluted tequila. Which this lawsuit is just starting here. Then, if this is true, it's starting here in New York with these three businesses or whatever, but it's going to spread very quickly across the country to the point where if everybody starts suing because they've been paying this high price for this when it's not the authentic thing, how long would they be able to, how much money would they have to shell out before they're out of business or have to file bankruptcy or something? We shall see. And since we're on Diddy, that's the last thing we're going to say about this. Virginia, I cannot say the last name, Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein accuser dies. So I'm pretty sure y'all know this woman, the woman who's in the picture, the infamous picture with what's his name, who accused Jeffrey Epstein. Well, she was one of the people that accused Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew. They're saying she committed suicide. That's all I'm gonna say. They're saying he committed suicide. She committed suicide. I'm gonna leave that alone. I honestly don't nobody know what that man be saying. Last thing. Oh, some pop culture topics. I saw that. Remember, I know y'all saw in the last 2 weeks that viral discussion about the gorilla, the 100 man versus one gorilla thing. And yes, I think the 100 man would win, but that's besides the point. So, just like always, Saturday Night Live, they do skits based off of what's going on in the moment. And Saturday Night Live, in the midst of the discussion between the 100 man versus the gorilla, decided to do this. They uploaded this, and if you can see, it says, 2 bitches versus a gorilla. It's the official Saturday Night Live. Now, on one hand, to me, in my personal, it wasn't funny. On the other hand, why would you agree to do this? And then why would you title it 2 bitches versus a gorilla? What's going on? And the post, by the way, is still up and no name change. I would imagine maybe the intern who did this is black. So they thought they were, doing something that would make them feel more part of pop culture. But this looked crazy. That wasn't funny. The thing is 2 minutes. I couldn't even get through it. That was only 35 seconds of it. No apology. They have not deleted the post. And people are talking about it. They just, if they delete it, it might bring too much. It might bring more attention to it. So they just kind of stand away from it and just letting it sit, hoping that it just falls over, which I'm pretty sure it will. This came out May 3rd. It's already the 11th. I think it already rolled over. But that was crazy. Craig said the ratings must be low. People says SNL is not funny anymore. Yeah. Well, because it's a skit show, it's always gonna have a skit here or there. But I haven't. The last time I watched Saturday Night Live, I want to say Dave Chappelle hosted it when he first hosted it. That was like a couple years ago. I want to say. I watched some of it. I haven't watched it much before that, or haven't watched any of it since then. Mitch said, now you know why that statue is in New York. I don't know, it says haven't heard shit about an apology yet. Not at all. Not at all. Let's see, move on. And this should be the last topic. Unless y'all get out of here. Another viral moment that happened I want to speak on. I'm gonna set it up with this. Decatur approves reparations task force apologizes to black residents. Obviously, we've been seeing this across the country. The same language is in this article as the rest of them. Not much to go on there. But the topic of reparations, the last couple years, 4 or 5 years, has obviously been more mainstream than ever. I'm sorry, I watched a little of the Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy too. I watched the Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy. I watched that too. But this has been a mainstream topic the last 5 or 6 years. So it led to a conversation on the Joe Budden podcast. Let me make sure I got it.
At the end of the day, these corporations that are making the money.
That's not it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, let me make sure I got the clip. I want to play where they talked about reparations. Honestly, the best thing SNL has in the Black Jeopardy game. That's a slam dunk one. Let me make sure I got this. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna show y'all this. A discussion on reparations. Let me play this.
What about it? Do you believe black people should get reparations?
No, I think black people should get equity, and I think the two are different. I think that I'm not really a fan of handouts. Like, I don't want your money. I just want me to be able to make my money and you not be on my dick about making it. I don't think that if we get reparations, we gonna fare any better. Me personally, I don't think that. So I think reparations would be a waste for most. Some would definitely take the money and do some positive things with it, but I don't think it'll get us no better if we're not changing how we're being treated in America. I don't think reparations is going to change nothing.
Because you said before that it's about rich and poor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start by saying this is the Joe Budden podcast. Man, you see here in the cream sweatpants and sweatshirt, that is Ish. The other guy's Ice, and then I want the discussion they're having with Marc Lamont Hill. And I don't want to go do a full who is he type thing, but Ish is a dude who says that he's against the handouts. He calls himself pro-black, but he's some of the things he says otherwise. But his problem is he has a problem with taking on people's theory or ideas and trying to constantly relate it to what he believes reality is. So he doesn't think about actual possibilities to fix something. He always thinks about how to win within something that already exists. So he's not necessarily against a system being brought down or changed. His whole plan is what's here, how do I take advantage of it? So he doesn't want to change anything, but yet he want to complain about it existing. It's a weird dynamic.
So the way we being treated is because we're poor.
No.
And he says that racism is almost dead.
I think that yes and no. I think
let me just finish. So if we did get the money, would it change how we're treated because they're not necessarily poor anymore?
No, because they're not going to give you enough money for you to be rich. Reparations, they're going to have to give 13% of the population reparations. And then they're going to decide if you got black blood, if you don't, like when we get the reparations. One, the reparations don't come with a financial literacy package to show you how to use the money to your best advantage.
One, and I get the idea of not taking handouts, but the whole argument of reparations is that it's not a handout, that it's owed. Right, that it's reparations literally means repair, repair the damage done. So the idea is if you took, like you said, if you got a 100-year head start and you took my money for 100 years, you exploited my labor, and all this stuff was built around our labor, universities, companies, insurance, all
the country,
the whole country, right, every institution. Then giving us reparations isn't a handout; it's actually what we're owed. And then the second part of that, I think, is I've never heard people say reparations is either or. You know, I've been part of the reparations movement for a long time, not like a leader of it, but just advocating for it. And every reparations person I know is also asking for voting rights, housing protections, other things. And then the last part of it is I think reparations should be a check. I think every descendant of slavery, to be clear so I don't get hit on the internet, every descendant of American slavery here in the United States deserves reparations.
Now, keep in mind, Mark was somebody who a few years ago when the ADOS FBA thing officially became a thing, he spoke against it. But now he used the same language because it's not as taboo anymore to bring up this type of language. We saw it with the director of centers, Ryan Coogler. So he's now using that language because it's the norm. As the keeper said, Marc Lamont Hill clown. I will say this. Since he's been on this show and I've seen him on here, it has dramatically changed my opinion of him. I know it's not for everybody else. I still disagree with him on a lot of his gender ideology and all the other stuff. He definitely pushes socialist, more so left-wing stuff. That some of the stuff I don't agree with. But I agree with him on more than I thought I did. Alma says, I hate Ish. Did a man forget we met him with no side teeth and being arrested for child support? He needs all the handouts he can get. You know, it's funny because somebody went and found out that he during the pandemic, you know, those fans of that podcast, they turned into the sleuths. They start just doing all type of investigative work when people say something. They went and found out that he was taking out loans during COVID. You know, those loans people that the landlords were able to get. And I said, well, ain't that a form of a handout? So you don't want handouts, but you took some. I said, nobody has read a California reparations report clearly. Keith says, serial killers and psychos go by their middle names too. Oh, the fact that he uses his whole name, Marc Lamont Hill. But yeah, so that conversation went on. And now there's a whole nother thing to talk about because there was a conversation that he had with this that went viral recently, which led to a much broader conversation about intellectualism or anti-intellectualism within our community, particularly in our media, and how a lot of black people not black people, but a lot of the platforms that exist don't push the idea of truth and making sure things are correct and right. Instead, it's just more so content and opinion-based and it's not factual. So they used this became the center of that discussion. Because in this conversation, somehow they're having this back and forth about a possibility of a flat earth. Right. And Itch is on the side of, hey, scientists lie, so I don't believe everything they say. So if they say the earth is flat, I'm not going to say it's 100% truth. If somebody come to me with any information that's going against that, I'm willing to hear it out. And Mark is saying that there's no scientific evidence that the earth isn't flat. I mean, that the earth isn't round. So why would you even bother acknowledging some things? Some things are just truth. You know it's truth. It's like math. And it led to a lot of back and forth. I know it's a sidebar. Do you have the clip of Mark saying he has to unlearn his light skin or demons from Now, I don't have the clip, but I saw it. He was a part of that cult that Malachi York started that ended up down there in Georgia, where they had built those pyramids and stuff. And I think it came out of Philly or New York. They ended up in New York. The Nuwaubians. I learned a lot about that a few years ago. A lot of Nuwaubians still exist to this day. Obviously, Malachi York was accused of being sexual assaulting children and a lot of other stuff. A lot of people got killed associated with that cult. And he was a part of it. And he said he was a part of it when he was 14, I want to say, or at least in his mid-teens. And he ended up joining it because of a girl, obviously. And once him and the girl weren't really an item, he ended up leaving it. I don't know if I believe that's the reason he left, but yeah. But yeah, he said one of the things he had to unlearn was that light-skinned people are the devil. Although he said that the reasoning that he was taught that is because they said that melanin was the determining factor in intelligence and all the other stuff. But yeah, they looked at him like it was crazy. Craig said, "I'm sick of this flat earth." I'm not gonna stay on this long. I'm not gonna play this whole clip because these clips are a little too long. But I just want to give a idea of the back and forth, and then I'm gonna get to the final clip where it really shows that the anti-intellectualism they were talking about really showed his head with Ish, who was unwilling to just admit he's wrong and make he's willing to make ridiculous arguments in the moment in order to try to be right rather than listening to address and hear what somebody said and then address it. I said, boy had a wild life. Oh man, I probably didn't even have to end the stream. I just realized I didn't even have to end the stream. I just need to take it off the screen, but it's whatever. All right. Now I'm just gonna finish this stream. I'm about to take these episodes down and then put them together, edit them together. Yeah, we back. Oh man. What was I even talking about? Oh, I was about to get into this conversation they had on capitalism, talking about Marc Lamont Hill and Ish. But I think I learned my lesson. People say, why they clip the stream? I was playing too much of the clips from the Joe Budden podcast. If I would have waited, if I didn't end the stream, and if I would have took the clips off the screen and let it sit for a little bit, the screen would have came back. But for some reason, I don't know why I decided to end the stream. I don't know. What was I thinking? But yeah, I just had too much of the clips playing. I was live streaming it. It's whatever. But yeah, I was going to talk about the conversation they had on capitalism, where Ish and Mark was having this debate, and it led to a conversation about morals versus reality, where Ish was justifying the idea of America sending a factory to Bangladesh because the people who speak on the moral ground, if the jobs leaving America is harming American citizens and those jobs are going to another country, and it's a possibility that it's a positive for the other country. So one group shouldn't be considered better than the other. If these jobs improve the lives of people in another country, you shouldn't be as angry with the fact that it's hurting people in America that is leaving. And it led to a whole conversation about America, and Marc Lamont Hill's parents are both born in the late 1920s, 1930s, and how they worked in the fields. And Ish was making an argument that was the norm. And Mark said, no, that was wrong. We protested, that was wrong. And Ish was trying to justify it by saying that was the times, and people were doing what was positive in the times. And obviously Mark said, well, what do you think the civil rights movement was? And Ish said that this is the moment I wanted to get to. Ish said the civil rights movement was in the 60s. And that's not true. The civil rights movement started way sooner than that. You can make an argument that the civil rights movement was easily in the early 1900s. No question by the time you get to the 30s and 40s. So I was going to get to that point to say, when you talk about anti-intellectualism that exists amongst black media, you have a man sitting on the couch with that big of a platform and doesn't know when the civil rights movement was going on. He's 50 years old and he didn't know. I'm not saying that nobody, if you don't know, you don't know. But there's no way you can speak so confidently about something and you don't know. That's the big problem. When you don't know, say you don't know. I say I don't know anything I'm not sure of. I say I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. That was the point I was gonna get to, but I ain't playing no more of it because Joe people got the guns out. They clipping. But now I can just finish this and I'm gonna get out of here. Google black workers reached $50 million settlement, racial bias settlement. Google LLC has agreed to pay $50 million to settle race discrimination allegations brought by a proposed class of black workers who said the tech giant pushed them into dead-end jobs and denied them advancements. The proposed deal would benefit approximately 4,000 black and other black plus workers. I don't know, what is black plus? That means biracial, people from other countries, different backgrounds. What is black plus? Workers, Google internal designation akin to the EEOC category of 2 or more races, okay. One where one is black, according to the motion filed Thursday in the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of California. The settlement is an outstanding result of the settlement class. The parties said more than substantial money relief. The settlement agreed codifies meaningful non-monetary relief. Class counsel will seek attorney's fees up to 25% of the settlement fund, the party said, and the council intends to apply for service awards of up to $50K for each of the 3 class representatives. All right. They got $50 million. The fact that these companies do so much shady business and pay out these big, large sums of cash, and they continue to do BS is a decision, ain't it? It's quite a decision to still do this stuff, knowing you're going to have to pay big money for it. Like, somebody doing something racist to you now is like a possible come up. You're not even completely against it. What else is there? Oh, 3 more stories. I gotta go to this. So, Fat Joe decided to start a podcast with Jada Kiss. Let me play a little bit of this. I'm not gonna play too much of it. Just the introduction.
For everybody, what's gonna make the difference with the Joe and Jada podcast?
Authenticity. You know what I mean? It got to be a organic conversation, correct? We can't ride the wave of what's going on out here. You know what I mean? This ain't that, and that ain't this.
That ain't this.
Virginia says racism is a come up now. It's crazy. It is. People, every time something racist happen, people go on the timeline saying, "I pray I go into a store." Remember the story of the dude who went to the bank to cash his check, and they said it wasn't his money, so then he sued them for discrimination and won. And then went and tried to put that check in his account at another bank, and they said that it ain't his money. He sued again. It's like, damn. People were saying he was lucky to be discriminated against. It's a come up. Anima says Jada hurt me with this move. Yeah, Jada, I don't. This wasn't a good one, man. And it's impossible for me not to think that the reason why Fat Joe decided to go start this with Jada Kiss is to get some level of esteem back amongst the culture. Because the last year it's been pretty bad for him. I believe he did this to get more cool points, especially when you talk about New York in general, to establish himself more so focusing on the New York aspect of his identity. And he did it with Jada because everybody loved Jada Kiss. So, you know, he got the ultimate culture card. It is what it is. He was a Joe Desperate needs to just go away. Sounds like they are trying to be like Mace podcast. No, I think Mace and Cam, they focus more on the sports and the pop culture, cultural topics and stuff. I think they said they're trying to have conversations. I would imagine they're going to speak more about telling stories from the past. You know, Fat Joe loved telling lies. Fat Joe would get in front of a microphone and tell you the greatest lie ever, and they find it entertaining. So I think that's probably the main thing they're going to talk about. He's going to get on here. They're going to tell stories from the 90s. They're going to invite other 90s rappers to come on and tell some stories and, you know, to try and bring back some level of validity to Fat Joe to me. I know Jada could have done the power with his son. That probably would have been better. Imagine Jada Kiss telling stories to his son about what was going on in the 90s as a guy who was a rapper on the come up, and his son get to tell him what it's like trying to get into the rap game now, what he's trying to get in through social media and stuff, and the walls he's running into by being Jada Kiss' son. How when he raps, people hear his dad rather than him being separate from him. That would have been a much more interesting podcast, but you know. I will say Jada's energy wasn't very I want to be here. It came off as I'm doing you a favor. You talked me into this, all right, I'll do it. Because stuff like this is normally years in advance where they start throwing these possible things we could do. I'm pretty sure Fat Joe been asking Jada to do this podcast probably for a year, 2 years. And finally agreed to it now. So it is what it is. Disappointed, man. Disappointed. What else we got? Oh, yes. This, see, if that stream didn't cut out, I probably would have spent another 15 minutes just alone. The turkeys have come home to roost. FBI says former turkey leg hut owner sold drugs out of restaurant. This story keeps getting crazier and crazier. So, Turkey Leg Hut was a very popular restaurant. It went the couple that ran it, should I say, got divorced. It went under. Now it's coming out that charges are being levied against one of the owners, the man and the husband of that owned it. He burned down a former co-owner's business, another business. He burned it down on video. Now they're saying that the packs they were selling out of the restaurant were filled with marijuana. So they were selling drugs, burning down other businesses, and he was apparently cheating on her with the staff. And now I'm looking at, I said it when it first happened. I'm looking at that divorce that they had as a lot less. It had a lot more to do with getting away from the crime than their actual relationship. Crazy stories, crazy stories coming out of Turkey Leg Hut. Houston, after the arrest of Turkey Leg Hut co-owner Lindell Price of arson charges related to 2020 explosion at a bar at Bar 5015. Federal prosecutors in Thursday argued in court to keep him in custody pending trial, presenting evidence of additional allegations. Price, 42, facing 3 federal charges for allegedly masterminding in the arson that rocked the museum district on an early summer morning. Armani Williams, 27, and John Lee Price, 39, both of Houston, were also arrested and charged with a connection to the explosion. During Thursday's detention hearing, Price appeared handcuffed and shackled in an olive green jumpsuit. Several family members were present, and Price acknowledged them with a nod as they entered the courtroom. Keep in mind, before they opened his business, he got out of prison. So he got out of prison, started a business with his wife, continued to commit crime, got a divorce, business goes under, and now he's possibly going back to prison. Yeah, they went and found evidence of people online, people who went to the restaurant, who were buying those exact packs out of the restaurant and knowing it was marijuana, and now it's all over social media. So now we know who was going there to buy that. Celebrities, all type of stuff. So they knew he was selling drugs, but somehow, shout out to them, they kept it quiet for a long time. Craig said, Lord. Shout out to them, man. They was able to keep it quiet for a good while, so it just didn't benefit them in the long run. He couldn't stay away from the violent criminal activity, man. It's crazy. What's this? We can skip that. This is the last story I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this last one. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna have to edit this together anyway. All right. Stephen A. Smith, Democrats forgot about Black Americans.
In the Democratic Party, I'm basically talking about what they were focusing on. They may be doing things on the state and local level and may deserve an abundance of credit for it, but that's not the message that we were receiving. And you know why we weren't receiving that message? Because they didn't think they could sell it to us. They didn't think that that would be good enough. They wanted to make sure, oh, we're going to point to racism. We're going to guilt you into voting for us. We're not going to talk about the things that we're doing positively. We're going to talk about what the other side is doing negatively to engage in fear-mongering to help you, through fear factor, go our way instead of theirs. And it didn't work this time. And to be quite honest with you, even though I might not like some of the things I'm seeing from the Trump administration thus far, the bottom line is I'm glad it didn't work, because I think for the longest time, Black Americans have played the role of suckers to the Democratic Party. They've guilted us into voting for them, making us feel as if we're going to be ostracized, creating division within our own communities or what have you to get our vote, instead of saying to us, hey, this is what we will do for you, and it will work better than what they're offering. And then with
all right, so he's saying that the talking points that should be common sense. So he's still on his political hunt. Then I got to show this right here. Virginia says, looking forward to your clips, Duke, as I missed a lot today, and since YouTube clipped your other video. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to take the other video and this one and just put them together and re-upload it as a whole stream. And then sometime Tuesday, I'll cut it up into the 3 clips like I normally do. So the videos will probably be re-uploaded later tonight or maybe early tomorrow, early Monday. Keeps it shut up, Stephen A. Smith. But now you got Mayor Eric Adams on putting out clips of him smoking hookahs, talking about women he used to meet with on the train and stuff. And they say he's not doing well against Cuomo in the polls. So we shall see. The Trump defense might not be the most beneficial thing to him right now. We'll see what it look like in a couple months. But Eric Adams may be on his way out. And rest of this I'll get to next Saturday, hopefully. There's many political and some. Oh, I'm just gonna say, Pakistan, India. That's another room of war. Really, a war that's going on that's starting. You know, they had a ceasefire that got broken, and I don't know what's going on now. I want people to keep in mind, and I'm pretty sure you already heard this. Both those countries somehow got nuclear weapons. Pakistan and India. And India having nuclear weapons is crazy because as much as as big as their population is and as large as their economy should be, their poverty matches any other third world country, but they don't get treated the same way. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, got clipped earlier, had to finish it on this right here, but I'm gonna edit them together. I'm gonna have to take both videos down and edit them together. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Sorry for the for what happened, but anyway. Virginia says, Duke, you don't talk too much about Trump. One of these days, I'd like to hear your take on him. I can't figure out his angle, which should be seen obvious, but it's too outrageous. I'll get to a deep dive on Trump. I was waiting, honestly, because he been in office for a little while. I wanted to wait until June, July to see, and I'm going to give a full what his plan is, because he's angering his own base at this point. With some of the moves he's doing. I said it earlier this year, America is broke. That's what I first said. America's broke. Trump looking for a way to get any type of dollar back into the American economy. He's willing to sacrifice now in order to have something 3, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. But we'll see. I'll talk about it in a bit. People say, oh wow, I didn't know that. Good information. Yeah, thank you. Thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate the support. And as always, all praise to the Most High. Oh, sorry. And strong, everyone. Start fresh on Monday. Good show, Duke. Peace. Keep for it's because the tiny hats. He's not an American first as he should be. Well, it seems like I said it. I think I talked about it the week before last. He's trying to separate himself from Netanyahu now. I get to it this Saturday. We'll talk about it this Saturday. Next Saturday, should I say. Anyway, y'all be safe. All praise to the Most High. And peace, man.